Veteran offensive coordinator Kirk Shiraka returns for year 3 at Rutgers. He has been all over as a DC with previous stops at Penn State, Minnesota, Western Michigan, Delaware, Rutgers, Richmond, Princeton, etc. Shiraka is a steady hand who knows what he's doing. I'd say he still relies a little too heavily on the RPO for my liking, but his teams play good fundamental football. So, John, what are your thoughts? We'll go offense first, overall thoughts on Rutgers as a team, and then we can switch to, you can segue that into how you feel about their offense, Kirk Shiraka.
Well, I mean, as a team, this is a solidly led program. I mean, Schiano is a fantastic coach.
Yeah.
He's just working at a very difficult job.
Yeah.
Rutgers is hard to win. So I think he's doing fantastic there on bringing that program up. It may be small increments, but it's still moving in the right direction. Kirk Shiraka is solid. I think he's a solid OC. I think he works really well with Schiano.
He's devastating off of bye weeks, man. He will pick you apart off of a bye week.
Yeah, you give him time to prep and you're screwed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, dude. You really are.
Yeah. So I think overall, the program is in a good place. I really do. I'm not entirely sure whether or not they're going to be as good as last year. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they were just as good as last year and they win 6-7 games. I think that there's some depth there in some good places. I think they've replaced a couple good people. I know Kyle Monangai was a god amongst running backs. He was incredible.
He was really good.
But I just have a really good feeling about Antoine Raymond. And
he's
CJ
good,
Campbell
man.
Jr. I think Raymond he could explode onto the scene this year. Just, I don't know if he's going to be as powerful as Monangai, but I think he's got the quickness and the shiftiness that Monangai didn't have in some instances.
Right.
And I think he's got more top end speed than Monangai. So that's kind of what I see possibly for their running backs and replacing, such a massive amount of production that Monangai was able to give to Rutgers. Athan, can he keep building his confidence? He had 2,696 yards last year, 18 TDs, 7 interceptions, completion percentage of 53.9. It's not great, but it wasn't terrible.
I mean, 54. It's not good.
It's not good.
It's on the very lowest side of okay.
Let's just say he looked more competent last year than he did at Minnesota.
He did significantly more competent.
I'll say that. That's really where I guess I can lead into. But
I also think Shiraka simplified the offense for him a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and then when you got a guy, running back like Monangai behind you, it's easy to just make yourself look a little bit better too.
Yeah.
So, but really with him, it's I think his ceiling is a lot higher than what we've seen. It's all between the years, man, as we've talked about for the last 2 years now when it comes to Athan. Is can he keep building that confidence? Can he relax? Can he not lose his cool? And when he doesn't, he can be on fire, man. He can throw ropes. And
he can throw ropes. He can't throw touch passes, but he can throw ropes. Yes. And that's why he doesn't complete 65% of his passes because he can't put any touch on the ball and he can't arc it and put it in layer routes. He can't layer balls in between. It's got to be a straight line frozen rope. Yeah. And you gotta scheme it up so that Athan can either do that or throw a deep ball.
Yeah.
Those are the two things he can do.
Yeah.
And you got to make the offense heavy. You got to make it so that he gets to make those throws more often than not. Because if you ask Athan to throw a bunch of screen passes, if you ask Athan to layer passes on top of each other, it's just not going to work. I was just saying Athan can't really throw a screen pass effectively.
No.
That's just never going to happen.
No, he can't. But we're going to see. He's got to go back to the running backs and talking about CJ Campbell Jr. is I think that there's a possibility of having a running back that could catch the ball, but can Athan get it to him? I mean, this guy has great pass catching ability. Mm-hmm. He's potentially a wide receiver lining up as a running back. He came from FAU. He had good numbers there. I think he's really fast. There's some potential to have another wrinkle in your.
So we got some speed in the backfield. We got some deep speed with those two guys this year. Sounds like.
You got your power runner, who's very shifty with Antoine Raymond, and then you got some solid speed with Campbell Jr. So I think it's possible to have I think the backfield, even without Monangai, is going to be pretty darn good and pretty darn deep. So
for
and
sure.
then moving on to wide receiver, I think the starters are solid. They lack some depth, but I think the starters are solid. I think Ian Strong is great. KJ Duff is solid. DT Sheffield from North Texas put up some really good numbers. Kenny Fletcher, I think, is a little underrated, and I think he can do some things. And plus, you do have some, I think a solid depth piece is Ben Black. But overall,
is he going to be something yet, though? Is he ready?
Exactly. That's what we don't know. So Ian Strong is going to be a great go-to guy. He's really solid. He's super reliable. I think him and Athan are going to continue to connect on a lot of passes, and so he'll help Athan look pretty good along the way. And the offensive line, you got offensive tackles Taj White and Tyler Needham. You got guards Brian Felter and Kwabena Asama, and center Gus Zilinskas.
Well, and let's not forget, man, don't bury the lead. All 5 starters for the O-line and the tight end in Kenny Fletcher.
Yep.
They're all back.
Yep.
So those are all returning starters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that bodes well for the running game, especially.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I think like Rutgers should be tough running the ball early in the year with such a coherent offensive line.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think they're going to be good. To me, it all comes back down again. I think, like we talked about last year, we probably said the exact same thing. Is Athan,
Yep.
If he can take that next step as far as his mental abilities, they could be pretty dangerous. Better than what I think people are expecting them to be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right. Any thoughts about Kenny Fletcher? How much of a threat in the passing game do you think he is, or is he just a blocker?
I think he's a solid blocker. I mean, I think he's going to be able to be implemented into the passing game. But again, you're talking about touch passes. I don't think they're going to throw him deep or anything like that. They'll probably throw him out on some drags or some hitches. But I don't think he's going to be doing anything crazy, in my opinion. So
no, I think you're right. I think you're right. All right. Other thoughts on the offense before we flip and talk defense?
Nope, not right now.